Okay, so if you can hear me, please tell us your name and where you're joining us from. Okay, we'd like to meet you. We want to know your name and where you're joining us from. So you can just drop it in the chat box. Um, okay, cool. So hi Benga from Dubai. It's nice to meet you. Hi Tokbe. It's nice to meet you as well. Hello Kingsley from South Africa. We just beat you guys recently. I can't believe you're cleaning South Africa already. But yeah, it's nice to meet you. Hi Ore from Lagos, Nigeria. Nice to meet you. You guys, welcome. So this is it's going to be an intimate session, right? We don't have it's quite unlike the masterclass, unlike the tech series, this is quite specified. So it's going to be more intimate where we get to talk and chat and yeah, see how we can move on from here together. So I'm just going to share my screen and introduce what we have for today. All right, so just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can see my screen clearly. Just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen clearly. All right, thank you so much, Simon. Thank you, Eitope. All right, so today we have come to look at how to uncover why uncovering why employees leave their jobs using Power BI. That's what we're going to be looking at today. It's an amazing case study that we've put together to train people that are interested in HR analytics on how to uncover why employees leave their jobs using Power BI. This is an analytics tool, right? So you just see people up and leaving their companies. There's no specific reason why. There's no goodbyes or have you. You just some companies you just get there one day and you realize that this person is no longer with us. All right. So how can we make this better? How can basically we've like gotten together a case study, right, on a particular company that has employees leaving, and now we want to uncover why these people have left their jobs and also give recommendations as to what the company can do better. And this is a real life case study. But before we get into it, I'm just going to introduce Tenalytics and what we do at Tenalytics. All right. So, it's an EdTech with it's an EdTech basically that helps people of the Black community transition into tech. So what we basically do is to handhold people and help them get valuable training and optimal value for themselves, after which they can like go out there and change the world. So basically, Tenalytics is an edtech company helping Africans and people of the Black community transition into tech by lowering the entry level barrier into tech, letting people know that you don't necessarily have to be one giant or one mathematics guru or one this or that before you can transition into tech and actually make it. Okay. So what we do at Tenalytics is to help people of the Black community transition into tech, into premium tech career and skills, learn premium career skills. Now, our service offerings includes business analysis, HR analytics, data analytics, we've got financial analytics, cybersecurity, Scrum, and data science, data engineering, and so on and so forth, about 9 programs right now. And we have top people, top professionals as our facilitators, right? We do not joke about where we get our facilitators from. They are always like the best of the best all the time. And we've got people from reputable organizations like Apple, like Microsoft, like McKinsey, like Coca-Cola, Amazon, Sahara, P&G, Google, and so on and so forth. So basically the top of the top professionals. And our courses are structured in a way that it's completely hands-on, right? Completely hands-on and very practical, so much so that you get optimal value for everything, for every single hour that you spend in our classes, right? So you can follow us on any of our social media Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, to get more about us, right? Now, meet our founders. On my screen here, we have Adeza Suleiman. He's the founder of Tenalytics. He's a data analytics expert. He has experience across Canada, United States, Nigeria, West Africa in general, South Africa as well. Did I say South Africa? East Africa. Okay. He used to be a data analytics consultant with FITC, right? He also works with Sahara Group as a data analyst. And like I said, he has experience across UK, US, Canada, and so on and so forth. And this has been, he has been in this business of tech, of data analytics for close to 10 years now. And he has worked in various sectors like sports, like oil and gas, finance, name it, edtech, automobile sectors, and so on and so forth. And he personally has trained over 8,500 participants and helps them transition into tech. So you can follow Adeza on LinkedIn at Adeza Suleiman, on Twitter at Adeza Suleiman as well, Instagram as Adeza Suleiman. Then we also have our co-founder in person of Ifemina Ipro. Ifemina Ipro, right? So he's the co-founder of Tenalytics, right? He operates as a data science contractor in the UK, in the US, in Canada, and like Africa as well. He formerly worked with Post Office UK as a business data support lead. He also has worked as a global business systems analyst at Teleflex Ireland. He also has worked at DPD Ireland as a business intelligence developer, right? Ifemina has experience in data analytics, data science, name it, cybersecurity, literally everything, right? And he has close to a decade years of experience cutting across multiple sectors. Okay, so we have really amazing people here all the time to handhold you and help you transition perfectly into tech. Now, meet your speakers, your facilitators. Okay, this thing is going. Meet your facilitators for today. I am Oluwadamilola Ajimobi, right? I lead the training operations here at Tenalytics. I have over 5 years of experience in data analytics and data science. I have experience in regional control and data protection. I have helped over 2,000 people transition into tech personally. And yeah, you can follow me on LinkedIn and on Twitter at Oluwadamilola. On the right hand side, we have Mary Anene. She is a senior data associate here at Tenalytics. She has over 5 years of experience in data analytics as well. She has helped close to 1,000 people transition into tech, and she currently works as an HR analyst and a data analyst. And she has worked across various industries, which includes national legislative body, NGOs, marketing, education sectors, and so on and so forth. So you can follow Mary on Instagram on LinkedIn at Mary Anene, and on Twitter at Mary. Okay, so I'm just going to right. Okay. Yeah, so if you're not okay, I don't know why it's taking right. Okay. All right, so okay, cool. All right. So what are we doing here today? Why exactly are we here? And I think I gave like a very subtle explanation earlier, but yeah, I'm just going to like explain more exactly what we're doing here today. Number one is we are going to be uncovering why employees leave companies using a real life case study, right? Number two, we're going to be looking at how you can get started as a HR analyst, right? How you can kickstart your career as an HR analyst, right? Number three, we are going to be talking to you about our upcoming HR analytics program that is going to be starting second Saturday in March. That is 2nd of March. And lastly, we're going to be looking at our special discounts and success stories our evidence. Basically, we're going to be looking at a lot of evidence that we have put together, right? So yeah, without wasting too much of our time, I'm going to be calling up Mary. Mary is going to be taking us to the practical aspects of uncovering why HR analysts leave. And this is a session where you really want to listen because there's just so much to learn. All right. So thank you very much, guys. I look forward to seeing you guys after Mary's session. Back to you, Mary. Hi, Mary.
All right, Damilola, thank you so much. I believe you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome. All right, thank you so much for that introduction as well. And from what Damilola said, I know we already have a good grasp of what we are going to be doing tonight here. So I want us to have all hands on deck, right? So we are going to be having an interactive session, and I want you guys to also participate as well, okay? So like Damilola mentioned, we are going to be working on a real case study where we are going to evaluate why employees are leaving a particular company, okay? So if you are ready, just type 1 in the chat so that we can get started. If you are ready for this session, type 1 in the chat and we can get started, okay? Chidima is ready, okay? All right, awesome. I can see Faith, Daniel. Okay, let's keep it coming. Fantastic. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's dive into it. All right, guys. So we're going to be looking at this case study today. So we'll be looking at this case study, and we're going to be taking on the role of a HR analyst. Like I said, we're trying to find out why employees are leaving this company. Yeah. So HR analyst, you're an HR analyst in a large organization, and your company has been experiencing a concerning trend of employee attrition. Now, most of us might not understand what attrition means. Attrition is simply when employees leave an organization, when an organization loses its workforce or its talents within its company, okay? So when this kind of thing occurs, it leads to increase in cost and disruption in workflow. To address this issue, you have been tasked with analyzing the data sets containing employee information to uncover patterns and potential reasons behind why employees are leaving the organization, okay? So that's exactly what we are going to be doing today. So the first thing we will be doing is to get to that data set. We want to understand what this data set entails before we start making sense of it, yeah? We want to see if we have the right information to work with. But I believe even looking at it in columns and rows, it still might not be satisfying enough for us to depict what exactly we want to do, okay? So I'm going to be sharing a link right now in the chat for those of us that want to work along with me to also download that data set, okay? So I'm going to drop it right now for us to do that. If you don't want to, if you don't have your Power BI desktop, all right, I'll just advise you to just follow as we go along, okay? Just calmly listen, follow, interact, and ask your questions in the chat, okay? So if you are called up to unmute yourself, kindly do that and also speak up as well, all right? So here we go. All right, so I have the link right now in the chat. So if you want to, you can go ahead and download that. All right, so let me go to where I have my link as well, my data set as well, and let's quickly look at it. Okay, so this is our data set. Okay, let me share that. All right, so this is our data set. I can see some of us are already coming in here to, get the data, which is amazing. All right, so if you want to download that, just go ahead and click on that link and you have access to this data set as well. Okay, so our data set here, obviously we don't know exactly where to start from, and that is where our initiatives or our usefulness as HR analysts comes in. We're going to be making sense of these rows and columns that are flooding through this white and black sheets, right? So the first thing we have here is our age column. Our age column merely indicates the age of each of these employees. Okay, so we have our attrition, like I said, recording employees who have left the organization and employees who are still within the organization. So where we have yes, it means that that particular employee has left the organization. Where we have no, it means that the employee is still with the organization. I believe this company has jobs that require travel. So that's why we have business travel here. We have information ranging from travel rarely, travels frequently, and maybe, okay, we have non-travel right here. Okay, so we also have daily rates, maybe if they are paid on a daily basis. We have our information for departments. We have distance from home. How far is it from your home to your workplace? Okay, we have our education fields, okay, count or number of employees, okay. So we have a lot of information here. Let me just scroll towards the end so we can see more of that. And I believe that should give us some insights of what we are going to be doing as well. We have our gender, hourly rates, job involvement, job level, job roles, job satisfaction, marital status, monthly income information, number of companies. Let me just expand this. I believe there's more to this. Okay. Okay, number of companies worked. So this is basically this column basically collects information for the number of companies that particular employee has worked in the past. All right. So we're also going to be using this particular column as well. Then percentage salary, performance rate, relationship satisfaction. I believe this is the relationship between the company and the individual in question or the employee in question. So how satisfied are they with their relationship with this company? Standard hours work, stock options. These are compensation types. We have total working years, training time. Okay, so this is basically training time last year, basically the investment a company makes on its employee to ensure that they are well equipped and well knowledgeable for their role. Okay. All right, so before we go into our Power BI and start analyzing data, I'd like to ask us, if you want to speak, you can just raise up your hand and we'll talk about it. I'd like to ask us, what do you think are some of the reasons that would make an employee leave their work? What do you think are some of those reasons that will make an employee leave their work? If you don't want to unmute yourself, you can just type in the chat your answer as well, and I can read it out from here. What do you think is one of that reason that would make an employee leave their workplace? Okay, so I can see Olaolu says low remuneration, okay, poor working condition, low income, low salary. That's Eyitope. Chidima says poor working condition, toxicity, okay, distance from workplace. All right, so I'm seeing a lot of nice ideas here, and I'm happy to say that every one of it is actually correct, okay? So an employee can leave a workplace because they are dissatisfied with their income, okay? They can leave a workplace because the environment is poor in terms of working conditions, providing the right equipment, or even the way the management relates with the staff, right? Okay, so distance from work, yeah. So you might even be as far away as living in another city, and you still find yourself in a very uncomfortable situation where you have to transport yourself every day. And this might not be fair, especially for someone that has low remuneration. I mean, spending all that money on transportation every month to go to work might be discomforting as well. All right, so these are very, very nice ideas. Okay, so John says to start with, I don't understand the topic. Okay, the topic is very simple. We just want to understand why employees are leaving a particular company. Okay, so as HR analysts, we work majorly with human resource data sets, right? To help an organization maintain its workforce in terms of performance, satisfaction, and also productivity. Do you understand? So here we are just trying to make sure that we ensure we find out those key reasons why these employees are leaving. If we find those reasons out, I believe we can use the information that we gained or the insights that we gained to help this organization maintain a better environment for its employees. Okay, so if we find out that those that are living the most are maybe low income earners, we can find out initiatives of how to increase their compensations, right, to maintain a healthy workplace. I mean, they already complain that they are losing a lot of money and it's causing discomfort for them in terms of their workflow. All right, so now we as HR analysts are going to be bringing a balance to that, digging out some insights to understand why these people are actually facing this kind of challenges. Okay, so let's not spend too much time talking. Let's get right into it. Let's get straight into our Power BI. All right. Okay, so if you are going to be following me right now, step by step, okay, just type 1 in the chat, but if you are not, type 0. If you are going to be following me, type 1 in the chat. If you are not, just type 0. All right. Queen is going to follow. User is following as well. Amazing. 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 So I'll be looking out for your contributions as well. Okay. That's absolutely fantastic. So let's get into our Power BI. Okay. All right. Okay, so I believe we can see my screen. So here we are in Power BI, obviously, and this is our welcome template. Anytime you open your Power BI desktop, you are going to be getting this welcome page. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to do something on this page, okay? So what we are going to do, we are going to go ahead and cancel that, all right? And the next thing we are going to do, okay, let me just expand my tabs. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is to bring in this company's data set into Power BI. So we are going to go to where we downloaded this particular data set right now, and we are going to take that from there and bring it into Power BI so that we can analyze this data effectively. Okay, so let's head over to where we have get data. Obviously, as the name says, it's the same function that it performs. So we are bringing in data from our source and transforming it in Power BI, creating a solution for this organization. Okay, so let's get into it. The first thing I'm going to do is just to click on this drop down here. Okay, you can click on the drop down arrow, you can click on the icon, whatever it is, and you have these lists of data, common data sources that you can connect to. There are thousands of data sources that you can use to connect into your Power BI, diverse databases, web pages, okay, queries, whatever platform that you may want to connect to or you may want to think of that you can use in your data analysis processes, okay? So, but for this particular analysis, we are going to be using our CSV. On my end, I'm using my CSV. On your end, you should have been able to download that data set as an Excel file, okay? So if you downloaded it as an Excel file, you want to use this Excel workbook to connect to that particular data set, okay? But if you have it in CSV or you downloaded it as a CSV file, you want to download it or click on this CSV option that you have here, okay? So I believe we have our data set downloaded right now, okay? For those of us that said we are following, Do we have our data downloaded? If you have, just say yes, 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 yes in the chat. If you don't have and you have a problem downloading, maybe just give me a thumbs down and maybe I can just walk you through how to get that into your personal computer. Amazing, amazing, awesome. All right, so I can just see 2 responses. I don't know if, okay, I can see more. All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's get into it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this text CSV, okay? And I'm going to bring in my data. All right, so my data set is already downloaded in my File Explorer, all right, under the download folder. Okay, so we have a File Explorer. It consists of desktop, download, documents, and pictures, videos, and all that. So whenever you download something newly, it's definitely going to go to your download folder. Okay, so I have mine here in my download folder, and I'm going to go ahead and select the file I want to use, which is our HR Analytics CSV. Okay. All right, so user said my Power BI app is not opening on my system. That's a bummer. Okay, so user, you can just follow along. Once you resolve that, I believe it should be easy for you to perform your own analysis step by step on your own. Okay, all right, so just follow through, contribute when you can. I believe you still have an amazing time. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on open to get this data into our Power BI properly. All right, so our data set is connecting. Okay, so Esther says she can't see the data set. All right, so I'll share that link again very quickly and click, okay. So you should be able to download it from that link right there, okay? And join us if you wish to, or just follow through and watch as we go along, all right? So here we are, our data set. We have a small preview of what our data set is. I believe this is just a measure for Power BI to ensure that we confirm that we have imported the right data set, okay? And thankfully, we've taken time out to look at this data, and I'm absolutely sure that this is the exact data set that we want, okay? That we want to bring into our Power BI to work on. Okay, so we are going to take another step now. We've brought in our data sets. Okay, before we do anything, perform any analysis, we have to make sure that our data set is ready for us to work on. It's clean, it's well transformed, it's very ready for us to actually transform within Power BI, okay? So before we start putting out charts, making those columns and all that, we have to make sure that our data set is ready. So because of that, we are going to go ahead and click on our transform data, okay? We're going to click on transform data, and I'll do that right away. Transform data, and transform data takes us directly to Power Query. Okay, transform data takes us directly to Power Query. Okay. All right, so I'm trying to expand my screen. All right then. So this is our Power Query interface. Our Power Query is majorly for us to transform our data, clean it, create additional columns, do some calculations using the M function, and other amazing tools that Power Query has for us. okay? But for this particular tutorial, we are going to just look at our columns and make sure they are in the right data set, or if we have any missing values in the column, okay? So you can see this little profile information that we have here, okay? You can always get that under your view, okay? You can always get that under your view. You can just select each of this information here, that's show white space or column quality, okay? So to see this, you just have to click on column quality and you have a breakdown of whatever you have within your columns, okay? So we have valid data, 100%, empty, 0, and so on and so forth, okay? And then another thing we have to note here is these small boxes that we have here on the left-hand side, okay? So here we have numerical values within our columns, and we have numerical values as well showing here. And we can use that to monitor other columns as well: attrition, text, travel, business travels. We have it as text, and every information that we have in numerical value is also in numerical value here. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll and look at that one after the other, and I can see that Power Query has effectively detected each of these relationships or each of these data types perfectly. Okay, so we barely have anything to do in this case, okay? And we can also note that each of the profiles that we've been passing through has 0% empty data or error as well. Okay, so our data set is as clean as possible, and we also have all the right data types showing here. Okay, so another thing I would like to do before we head over into our Power BI and start visualizing our data is to change the name of this particular the sheet, okay? So you can leave it like this. Obviously, you can still work on your data set without changing the name. But just to ensure that whoever comes into this sheet understands that we are using this particular dashboard or report to report on employee attrition or reasons why employees are leaving, we want to give it a relatable name, okay? And to do that, we just have to come here where we have properties name, and we can just go ahead, double click inside of that and rename it, okay? So let's go on. I'm going to name this HR attrition, okay? Okay, so we have HR attrition, and I'm going to click enter. Once I click enter, we can see that change over here. So our data set is going to refresh and ensure that yes, everything is back to the right state of the right state that it needs to be here. So we are going to wait for that to load, and once it does that, we'll close this and apply and get into our Power BI desktop to start our visualization, okay? All right, so to go back into our Power BI, okay, to go back into our Power BI, we have to click on close and apply, close and apply. So I'm going to go ahead and just click this icon, and I believe I'll get to where I need to go, okay? All right, so I can see Queen saying that uh, this data has been truncated, please help, okay? All right, ensure that you are bringing it in with the right data type, okay? So if you downloaded it in Excel format, please bring it in as Excel. And if you downloaded it as CSV, bring it in as CSV as well. All right. So Francis wants to know if I've cleaned this data before this meeting. Obviously, I haven't cleaned this data. It's exactly how it is. Okay. So sometimes you'll be lucky and you come across data sets that you don't have to do so much cleaning on. And sometimes you find data sets that you have to, use your sweat and blood to clean it up and then mop up the floor after you finish sweating on it. All right. So that's how the case may be. And then, okay, I downloaded as Excel and I'm bringing it in as Excel too. All right, so Queen, you can just try again, okay? Just try again. I believe that should go smoothly now, okay? Or you can just follow along and just watch what we are doing, and in your free time, you can replicate that as well, okay? All right, so our data set has now fully loaded and we're waiting for it to reflect in our data panel so that we can start our analysis. All right, so while we're waiting for that to load, let's quickly look at some guided questions that were given to us to help us understand what we are going to be doing in this analysis, okay? So here in our case study, we have some questions that we are supposed to look into. So our employers asked us to find out what is the rate at which employees leave this organization, okay? What role do job satisfaction, distance from work, job involvement, influence, and work-life balance play in employee attrition? And how do the years spent with current managers influence the likelihood of an employee leaving the organization? Okay, so we're going to be looking at some of these areas within our data sets and making sure that we are able to draw insights from it as to how these areas influence employee attrition. All right, so let's get back into our Power BI. All right, so we have our employee attrition data right here. I'm going to just click on this to expand it, okay? And we can see all the columns that are within this particular table, okay? So we can see all the column headers well listed. We can see these symbols here indicating our columns that are in numerical values, and the ones without that symbol is indicating the columns that are in text, okay? All right, so we're going to move on. So for this analysis, we're going to be using a very straightforward approach, all right? We want to find out the factors that are influencing employees leaving this organization. What are those key things that we need to note, right? So we're going to be using something called the key influencer. It's like a very intelligent tool that just helps us to measure out performance based on the values that we put into it, okay? So I'm going to bring out our key influencer chart right here. Okay, I'm going to click on that. Key influencer. Okay, so we have it here on our screen now. And what I want to do, I just want to expand that. Okay, so we can see everything happening on my screen as boldly as possible. All right. So like I said, we are trying to find out why employees are leaving the organization. And the first thing we're going to look at here is obviously our attrition, okay? So we have a column that indicates when employees have left and when employees are still within the organization, okay? So we are going to go ahead and click on attrition, okay? Our attrition column is what we are going to be analyzing this information by, okay? So the first thing we are going to look at, like we mentioned previously, some of the reasons why employees are leaving the organization is going to be our pay, our salary, okay? And we are going to look at this by monthly salary, okay? Monthly income, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, okay? And I want to turn that from sum to average. All right, can we all see my screen? Oh, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click on average here. And I want to see the average sum of employees. Okay, so here we have what influences attrition to be. We want to change this to yes, no, to be yes, because yes indicates that that particular individual has left the organization. So I'm going to change this first, and we're going to see our analysis instantly. All right. So what influences our attrition to be yes? When the average of monthly income is less than 2,800, is 2,800 or less. Okay, so we can see our chart here showing us exactly what we need to know, okay, without us even performing or calculating any measures or any mathematical function at all. Okay, so we have here 2,800 or less with at least about 30%, 30.75% of attrition in the organization. So this actually points out that everyone was right. Individuals with low salary, okay, low remuneration are more likely to leave the organization, okay? So individuals with low remuneration are more likely to leave the organization. So we have one information down, all right? And as detectives, we are going to go further and find out more areas that we can also drill through to get our insights, okay? So the next thing I'm going to look at is our age, all right? So how does age influence this particular reason? Are the older generation leaving, or are we losing young people in this organization? Who are those that are most likely to leave? Okay, so I'm going to look at our age. Okay, and as usual, I'll change that to average. Okay, so I'll be changing everything to average, and we'll still be getting our insights. All right. I'll also bring in other informations as well. If you have any idea of the column that we should look at next, you can also type that in the chat and I would look at that as well. Okay, so go to your data set, look at the columns and give us suggestions on what we should look at. Yeah, I remember someone mentioning distance from home as well. So I'm going to bring in our distance from home column here. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm also going to look at overtime because employees who are working overtime might likely be leaving the organization due to fatigue. Okay, so if working overtime is something that is compulsory for this organization, they might want to re-strategize their policies on that. Okay, so that they can stop losing these employees. So let's find out what this record also says. All right, so we are still on age. So we are not seeing any information from the informations that we just entered. So we'll continue looking. Okay, so I remember talking about work-life balance as well. So we want to locate where we have our work-life balance information. We're going to select that. Okay, we're going to look into that as well. All right, I'll change that to average because it's a numerical value. I want to find out the ratings. Also want to find out the performance sorry, the job satisfaction. Okay, so if someone is not happy with their job, obviously they might not be showing up for work anytime soon. Okay, so we're going to use our job satisfaction column right here, and I'm going to convert that as well. Okay, so someone asked me, why am I using average instead of sum? Okay, so for this particular information now, let's say age, all right? Let's say for age now, I decide that I want to leave it as sum, right? We have various employees, and I'm sure that nobody within this workforce is below 18 years. So just imagine I'm adding 18, 18, 18 for 10 people, and I come and I tell you that, okay, the employees in your organization are 1,228 years old. Does that make any sense? Obviously, it doesn't. But if I take out the average, I get a figure that gives me an estimated information that says, okay, the employees within this organization are, let's say, 37 years old. Okay, so we know that majority of our workforce ranges from that maybe 20 to 30 something years old. So we know that our workforce is majorly consists of younger people, all right, more than old people. So if we have a workforce where our average age is 60 something, definitely we are dealing with a much more older generation, all right? So our averages just gives us an overview of what we are looking at. Okay, I'm going to use another example. Let's say performance. Okay, so we give out a survey for employees to rate their we give out a survey for managers to rate their employees' performance, right? For their downlines performance. And we give them a rating of 1 to 5. And that 1 to 5 already means something. Excellent to poor, right? And then instead of us looking at the average score will definitely give us, let's say, 4.5, 3.5, or 3 on the dot, or something like that, to give us an understanding that, okay, generally our workforce is performing good, okay? Our workforce is performing good. But if I add all those informations up, I'm going to be getting maybe 35. We don't have 35 on our scale, right? Our scale is 5 to 0, or sorry, 5 to 1. We don't have 35 on our scale. What does that mean to us? Okay, so I think that's that. All right, so I think Queen understands now. Okay, all right, so we can move along. We are going to look at our training. Okay, sorry, not our training. We are going to look at the number of companies an employee has worked in. Okay, so this might be something to look to help us understand if those that have worked in more companies are more likely to leave, or those that have worked in less companies. So we know how to, orientate these people to maintain them within the workforce. Okay, so I'm going to look at average. All right. All right, so someone talked about toxic work environment, all right? And I believe we have something on that as well. Okay, environment satisfaction. Okay, so we want to know if these employees are experiencing toxic work environment. So let's select that as well. And we're going to look at it on average as well, okay? All right, no problem. That's where we are going to, okay? We are still bringing in our information. So we are going to talk about that soon. Okay, so here we go. So we have our key influencers here. We have our average of age is 21 or less. Okay, so when we have attrition when our average of age is 21 or less. Okay, so we have here 50% attrition when that particular individual is 21 to 18 years of age. Okay, so we have 50% attrition, which is actually a very large number. Okay, we are losing the younger workforce. All right, why are we losing these individuals? So we have to note that down in our insight that yes, this is what is happening in the organization at the moment, and how we are going to be able to tackle that. We are going to find out. All right, here also we have overtime information. So when overtime is yes. We want to see what's happening there. So I'm going to click on this bubble. Okay, so we can see the information there as well. Okay, so this is just to give us our insights. So we have the greatest here, the greatest influence, which is age. All right, age is the major factor with about 50% attrition recorded in the basis of looking at age. All right, so we know that those that are within that particular age group, we are losing them faster than the speed of light. Okay, then we have those that work overtime. All right, those that work overtime. Okay, so definitely all the individuals that work overtime have higher attrition rates than those that do not work overtime. So definitely we have to start making changes into the company policy for overtime workloads. All right. So here we have it. We have the um, information that is stopping our chart right now is working overtime. So we note that that is actually a reason for us, a reason for employees to leave the organization. Overtime working, okay, those that are within the ages of 21, much more likely to leave the organization. Okay, and then we have the average of monthly income. So let's look at the compensation. All right, so that's the first thing we looked at. We noted that those with smaller salary are most likely to leave the organization. Those with smaller salary are most likely to leave the organization. So this makes up at least 31% attrition in the monthly income range. Okay, then we have the average of work-life balance, right? So we always talk about work-life balance as being important, balancing your work ethics and balancing your life outside of work as well. All right, so let's see how this factor influences attrition. Okay, let's see how this factor influences attrition in an organization. All right, so those that work minimum of 1 hour. Okay, so all right, so those that rated this one, okay, they are most likely to leave the company. Okay, so work-life balance, their rating, let's say their rating was from 1 to 5, right? So these individuals rated this particular work-life balance 1. Okay, so those that rated it 1 are more likely to leave the organization more than those that rated 2 to 4. Okay, so those that rated it 1 are more likely to leave the organization. I believe this organization should find a way to take out this survey more and find out how the entire workforce is doing. Okay. I think this key influencer chart makes it very easy for us to find out key areas of influence and also see which area is more alarming than the other, which one needs more attention than the other. Okay, we have our average of environment satisfaction. So someone mentioned toxicity, right? So here we have it. So individuals, a lot of individuals, okay, have rated this. About 284 individuals have rated this particular area as their top reason or one of the reasons why they left this organization. So we might want, as HR analysts, you might want to start talking to the HR managers or whoever is supposed to be in charge of particular departments to start looking into how to check with their character, the way they communicate to individuals on a daily basis to ensure that they don't portray a toxic work environment or an uncomfortable work environment for these individuals. All right. So let's quickly look at some of these other reasons. We've looked at age. We have another age influence here showing up as well. Okay, so here we have our 21 to 33, all right, making up 20% attrition. This is all these influences are arranged as the severity of their impact towards the attrition rate in that company. Okay, so everything is arranged to like that. You can see 177x. I believe the first one we have is age for the young generation, which is 3x. All right, that's how severe it is. Like I mentioned, 50% attrition, whereas we have those in 21 to 33 under 20% attrition rate. Then for job satisfaction definitely individuals might not be happy with their work, maybe because of the fact that they are not getting enough pay, or how toxic the work environment might be, or even for the fact of always working overtime. Yeah, so that might be an issue for them. And we have this job satisfaction scale here, where we have that those that rated this job satisfaction as 1 are more likely to leave the organization, with a whooping 22% attrition rate. All right, so for most of us that haven't done any research on this, the limit for an attrition to be outrageous should be at least within the percentage of 8 to 10%. Okay, so once it goes above that, it is completely outrageous. And here we are having records in different sectors or different areas, 20%, 50% and above, which means that this is something that we need to put as high priority, prioritize them, and start looking for initiatives to curb these issues within this particular organization. Okay, so we have our distance from home. Let's look at that. Okay, so we're going to say our 11 or less should be our kilometer, then more than 11 kilometer. Okay, that is the one that is receiving more attrition rates. Okay, so those that are living further away from work are more likely to leave this organization. You can see how we are noting information down with facts and figures. We are not just guessing it, but we can actually prove it with our percentages, even in fact with the numbers itself. Okay, so we can see our count of attrition on our tooltip on the screen right now, showing that we have 415 individuals that have left the organization because they live more than 11 kilometers away. All right, so I don't know if anyone can give me one solution that this company can actually implement to ensure that even those that are far away can actually work effectively for them in this organization. If you have an idea, just drop it in the chat. All right. Okay, so then we are going to go over to our all right. So Queen says remote work, amazing. Remote work is absolutely fantastic. Hybrid as well. Okay, so we can have hybrid workflow. Okay, so if we want to be seeing our employees, maybe like at least let's say once or twice a week, we can to have some kind of meetings. We can also implement that as well, and then allow them to stay the rest of the week at home. This will help them to foster a more likeliness to show up at work, and instead of losing them, we gain them in a different way. Okay, so we make changes to accommodate these issues within the organization. Okay, so numbers of companies work. Are those that work for like 10 companies more likely to leave, or are those that work for like less than 10 companies, less than 1 company, 2 companies more likely to leave? Let's find that out. All right, so we have our figures here, and we have more than 4. All right, so those that worked for more than 4 companies are more likely to leave the organization, probably because they understand that maybe if they work for more companies, they get more experience and higher salary compensation. I believe this is similar for those that worked for just those that have worked for 0 to 1 company. Okay, looking for more experience, higher compensation. This makes up at least 18% of attrition within this company. And we have here as well, we have 21.75% of attrition for this particular reason. Okay, for this particular number of companies that individual has worked in. Okay, so now we've looked at some of the influencers that have made employees to leave. Let's find out the actual rate, generally speaking, the actual rate of attrition for this company and the number of employees this company has at the moment. Okay, so let's look at that very quickly. All right, so that would involve us writing a small DAX measure. So let's quickly do that. I'm going to enter my data now, create a new table. Okay, so I'll click here to create a new table where I can store my calculation. All right. So I'm going to call this key measure. All right, key M, standing for key measures. So let's quickly do that, do our calculation. Okay, so let me minimize this so I can see our second table. All right. Okay, so we have our key measure here. So I'll just click on it and I want to calculate a new measure. Okay, I just want to find out the general attrition rate for this company. Okay, so we have a column that says this individual has left and this individual hasn't left. So how badly has this reflected in the organization? Is this something that needs immediate attention or is something that we need to take step by step? All right. So even from the key influencers, we know that definitely this needs immediate attention. But let's know the general rate of attrition for this company. And we're just going to do a little DAX measure, which involves us finding out the number of people who have left this organization. We're going to use a simple method to calculate that. So I'll call this measure attrition. Okay. And that will involve me using our calculate function that allows us to use an expression like, okay, I just want to count the number of employees in this organization using our employee number. Okay, let's go back there. HR. Okay, so we have our employee number. So we want it to go into that column and count each employee within that organization. But we also want it to filter that count by the column where we have attrition, but only count the text that says yes. Okay, so if it says yes, that means that employee has left the organization. So we want to get the total number of individuals who have left this organization, just that. Okay, so we want to know the number of individuals that have left the organization. Once we have that figure, we can also find out the rate of attrition. All right, very briefly. Okay, so that's still loading. All right, so we have our calculation in here. And the next thing we're going to do now is to calculate our attrition rate. Okay, so I'm going to do that very quickly because of our time. I'll just click here to calculate new measure. Okay. All right, so I'll call this attrition rate. Okay, so I have my little symbol there showing that this is going to be in percentage. So let's start with our calculation. The first thing I want to bring in here is our attrition. Okay, so to bring that in, I'll just use my square brackets because it's a calculation. Okay, and I want to divide that by the total number of employees within this organization. Okay, all right. Um, Okay, so that would be me using my distinct count. all right, and taking out that number of employees, okay, and click enter. This figure is going to divide, and then I'll just transform that into our percentage, okay, by clicking on this percentage symbol right here, and that should convert that instantly. All right, so that's loading. So once it loads, we are going to start visualizing. All right, so I want to reduce this to 1 decimal place as well. All right, so I'll just bring in my card visual very quickly, visualize that. Okay, let's minimize this a little bit and move it like this. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the attrition rates. All right, so we have 16% attrition, which is definitely above what we call an outrageous amount of employees leaving the organization. Okay, so we have from 8 to 10%. After 8 to 10%, everything after that is definitely too much for an organization. That means this organization is losing not just productivity, but a lot of resources trying to recuperate the losses it's experiencing. All right. So 16% is an outrageous number. Let me quickly format this visual and bring in the total number of employees that we're supposed to have in this workforce. Okay. So I'll just start with, let's just reduce this to 35. Okay. And make this visual have borders or something like that, just to make it look stand out a bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. All right, and I want to look at the total number of employees in this organization. All right, so I'll just drag that over here. Okay, so I want to see distinct count and not sum. All right, so now that we have a good figure, I'll just rename this tab to number of employees. Okay, so just like that, we've done a particular visual that has to do with the count of employees without having to write any DAX. I did a simple DAX measure to get our attrition rate as well. Okay, so let's finish up our dashboard by giving our dashboard a header, obviously. And I'm going to start by bringing in a shape. Okay, so I'll go to my Insert tab, get to my shapes, and just select any shape of my choice. I'll just take this one here. Pentagon. All right. All right. So let me just do a little bit of transformation very quickly. All right. Then I'll bring in my text box. And let's give our dashboard a header. Okay. So here I'll just give our dashboard key influencers of reasons why employees leave. Okay, so I'll make that bold. Hello guys, can you hear me? Let's see if you can see my screen.
I can see your screen now.
All right, all right. All right. Okay, so I'll go ahead and expand this figure here. Just make it a bit bold. All right, and I'll place it where I need it to be. I'll turn off that background. All right, and let's just change our font style. I think that this is the last thing that we even need to do here. I'll just change our font style to this, and we're good. All right, so we've made our visual as appealing as possible. I'll just change this text color to white just to make it more visible. And we have our report that we can readily introduce to the HR manager or the CEO of this company, giving them the breakdown of our findings and also a list of recommendations that we've come up with, like taking out the necessity for overworking, talking to managers who create toxic work environments for workers, making sure that individuals have access to remote work options, and also ensuring that individuals have great job satisfaction, and looking for other ways to create developments for those that are within the ages of 21 to 18 years of age, okay, so that we can cut these attrition issues, all right? So from this insight, you can generate numerous recommendations that you can present to your stakeholders to ensure that you tackle this issue, like we have here, the reasons why employees leave this organization, all right? And with that, I would take my bow and say thank you for your time. We are done with our practical aspect. So I'll be turning over the mic back to Damilola to continue with the program.
Okay. Wow, that was a very packed session. All right. So I don't know if you guys, if you want to give me a round of applause, that was an amazing session, right? We have learned so much in the space of 1 hour. So a couple of appreciations for that amazing work. And yeah, do we have, in just 1 or 2 minutes, we'll take questions. Okay, so if you have questions regarding what we've just learned, you can feel free to use the raise an icon and we will call you. For example, I can see Queen. I think Queen, yeah. Okay. If we have anybody with questions, you'd like some clarifications on 1 or 2 things that maybe just took us through, you can use the raise an icon and we'll call you. But if we don't have anyone, we'll just move ahead with the rest of the session. Anybody? Okay then. Okay, hi Queen, you have your hand raised. Okay, I'm just going to ask you to unmute so you can ask your question.
Hi everyone, my name is Quinn. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Right, thank you. So the session was really, really amazing, and to be honest, I've learned a whole lot. Just that I had trouble connecting the the data sets to Power BI. I don't seem to know the issue, but I think, like Mary said, I'll have to sort that out later. But my main question is, can we like have a deeper explanation of what DAX functions are used for and why it's so useful? Because I noticed she kind of did something like a breakout while she did the visuals and everything. Then she now like did DAX by the side for something else. So I wasn't sure, and that was why I wanted her to explain further. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Queen. Okay, so actually, that is quite, it's broad. Okay, it's not something that we can dive into right now, right? It's quite, it takes like a whole lot of time to explain, right? But I'm just going to let Mary explain why it's important in just 1 minute, so that you, but yeah, we'll talk about how you can get more explanation on DAX in the next couple of minutes. So Mary.
All right, thank you very much, Damilola. So, Queen, DAX measures, yeah, they are just data analysis expressions. It just helps us to create tiny measurements, all right, that would help us generate more insights in our data sets. Okay, so one thing we do in Tenalytics is to break that process down for you, okay, starting from beginner stage to actually get to this stage as well. Okay, so you want to ensure that our participants understand what DAX is, how to start with it at a beginner's level to an intermediate level. You can see what we are doing here. I mean, most of the students now, I think they can even do much more than that, writing variables and all that. So if you want to understand more about that, as Damilola said, it is quite broad, all right? But there's a stage that you can start from, and then you can build on from there, okay? So this part that we just did here is actually very straightforward. Once you come to class, we are going to be giving you a very good breakdown of how to apply this, and you are going to see how simple and straightforward it is, okay?
All right, thank you very much for that, Mary. I can see, okay, all right, then you're welcome, Queen. So very quickly, I'm just going to take us through the next part of the session, right? Just let me know if you can see my screen, please. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so we've just gone through the case study. Yeah, we've just taken a case study on how you can uncover why employees are leaving a particular company at a particular time. All right, now up next, we have why you should choose a career in HR analytics. Why exactly should you choose a career in data analytics? And I feel like everybody that is here by now should have an answer to why they should choose a career in HR analytics, right? Because the demand is growing. People now, not just people, companies are looking for HR analysts everywhere. Literally like everywhere. Because aside the fact that there's a lot of attrition going on, right? It also helps them to keep thorough information on their HR, their human resource data, right? They've collected human resource data for like a while now, and they need people to analyze this data. So the demand for HR analysts are actually growing a lot, and not just in Nigeria, but all over the world, right? So demand is growing at an unprecedented rate, and this is the best time to break into the HR analytics space. Yesterday was the best time. Today is the next best time to break into this HR analytics space, right? And what are the things that you're going to be doing as an HR analyst? What are your functions? What are your responsibilities? What are the things that you're going to be doing as an HR analyst? You can see that today we worked on attrition. Basically, it's like one part, like it's like one part of HR analytics. There's so much more that HR analyst people do. Okay, so the HR analyst is responsible for analyzing and interpreting HR specific data all you're going to be working on is human resource data. Maybe and some more, depends on the company actually, but major things that you're going to be working on is HR analyst data, HR specific data to generate insight and support data-driven decisions. If the company is going to be taking decisions based on their workforce, their people, right, you are going to be at the forefront of that, right? Using HR specific data to generate insights and support data-driven decisions. This is we're going to be sharing these slides with every single person that has that's on this call. So you might want to we dropped an attendance, right? So you might want to register, fill the attendance form to be able to get this data. All right. Now, how can you become an HR analyst? How can you become a HR analyst? Right. What are the roles? Let's look at the roles of this HR analyst. What do they do? Right. Like I said, you're using HR specific data to generate insights, recommendations about talent, about employee performance, about employee evaluation, about the workforce of different companies. That's the majority of what you'll be doing. An HR analyst is going to be working solely on HR data. Okay? An HR analyst is going to be working solely on HR data. All right, I'm trying. Okay, cool. So HR analyst, HR data, they go hand in hand. Now, what is the average salary of an HR analyst? In the UK, they earn up to or over. That it also depends on how you're able to negotiate, right? So on the average, £32,500 per annum as an HR analyst, right? In Canada, it's 71,230 per Canadian dollars, and in the US, it's 62,305 US dollars. Now, the key learning areas that you're going to be focusing on as an HR analyst will be problem solving. It's very important that you know how to solve problems, because aside the fact that you're going to be working with HR specific data, you're also going to be solving problems, HR specific problems within the company. Obviously, like, there isn't a department without its own problems, right? So you're going to be solving HR specific problems with specific HR data, right? You're going to be learning Excel, which is very important. You have functions and formulas. You're going to be learning VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, and dashboarding in Excel, how to build so that your stakeholders, the company's management, are not just working with reports all the time. They are seeing visuals, just like we just finished, right? And then you're going to be working on Power BI. You're going to be using Power BI. What we just did now is the tip of the iceberg, right? So you're going to be learning the core parts of Power BI, how to use Power Query, how to use Power Query to clean your data, how to use Power BI to build your dashboard, to build your reports, how to connect to Power BI service in a way that you build the dashboard, right? And then every other person in your company can access the dashboard just by sharing with them. You're going to be learning that as well, okay? You're going to be learning row-level security and so much more. Then you'll be learning structured query language. And so you might say, oh, SQL, what am I going to be using SQL for as an HR analyst? You need SQL simply because they're going to be querying, you're going to be working with large amount of data. Now, there are times when you need to work with specific data. Say, for example, your company has data of about 1999 to 2024. And what you need is just data of 2023, right? In this scenario, you will need the knowledge of SQL to be able to go into the company's database and withdraw or take out SQL, take out the data of 2023 alone using SQL. So we'll teach you how to do that. So you don't have to rely on a database engineer or a data engineer to be able to do these things. These are like simple tasks that you can do by yourself and even automate, right? So we're going to be teaching you that as well. Then you will now move into your HR specific chapters where you learn HR analytics and performance evaluation, you learn HR metrics and life cycle, you learn HR analysis and dashboarding, collaboration and report automation with Power BI, with Excel. You learn how to build your case, your HR case, and create your own action-based plan. And then you also learn ChatGPT for HR analytics. These and many more are the things I'm going to be learning in this class. Now, what is the learning timeline? You can become an HR analyst in 4 months. 4 months. You hear people saying, oh yeah, you can't become whatever in. It's a lie. It's a lie. We at Senalytics, we've had people and like they landed a job in just 1 month of starting, right? So you can start in 4 months. It's not even, there's so much that you can learn in 4 months. All you need to just do is bring your energy, right? So it's 3 months of live classes, 3 months of intense live classes, and then 1 month of internship, major internship. Now, this is the HR analyst curriculum. This is like everything that you're going to be learning from the beginning to the end. Okay, just a minute, I'm trying to rename. From the beginning to the end, this is everything that you're going to be learning. So when you get these slides, please feel free to look through the slides one by one. Yes, Simon. So this it is recorded, right? This session is recorded. So do well to fill the attendance form and you get the recording as well as the slides. Okay. So after learning all of this, then you come to build 10 high-end projects. You're going to be working on project-based classes. Project-based classes, okay? So you'll be working on 10 high-end projects that you're going to be using to scatter your portfolio. That's for lack of better words. Right? So now, we're just saying HR analytics, HR analysts. But yeah, just like we have data analytics, and we know that it's not just data analytics, but like when you are applying for roles or when you are looking for the roles in the market, you're not just looking at HR data analyst. It's the same thing for HR analytics, HR analyst, because different companies have the different names that they use for it, but basically they're all under the same umbrella. So there are different careers that you can venture into after completing our programs. It's not just HR analytics. There's a lot that comes under this HR analytics umbrella, right? We have the HR analyst, which is the major one that everybody knows. Okay, but we also have all these roles as well. You can work as a workforce planning analyst, you can work as a reward analyst, you can work as a talent analyst, you can work as a compensation and benefits analyst, HR data analyst, HRIS analyst, HR compliance analyst, and succession analyst. There's so many roles that you can fit into after completing this HR analytics program. We would always say that do not just go on the internet and look for HR analyst role. There are so many titles that are attached to it basically, and if you now check the job description, it's literally the same thing with the role of an HR analyst, but they just scatter it everywhere. So there's so much that you can learn. That there's a lot of roles that you can apply for after taking any of our programs, the HR analytics program, right? Now it's a 4-month learning journey. 4-month learning journey, 3 months of project-based live classes, 1 month of 2 weeks of capstone project, and 1 month of virtual internship. Now, please note that classes are on Saturdays only. Virtual classes are on Saturdays, live classes are on Saturdays only, and it's between 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. West African time. 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. West African time, and that will be 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Alberta Mountain time. Okay, now on Sundays we have something that we call Watch Me Do It videos. Watch Me Do It videos. That are the things that you're going to be getting on Sunday. And what are Watch Me Do It videos? These are self-paced Watch Me Do It videos. They are videos that you don't even need to struggle at all. Just put yourself in front of your laptop and start watching, period, right? You stay in front of the laptop at your own leisure time. Although we have like timeline for when you should watch these videos. But if you're a morning person, you can choose to wake up in the morning and watch your videos. Say, as someone that used to wake up 4 a.m. in the morning, you watch it from 4 a.m. to maybe 10 a.m. in the morning, and then that's good. If you're an afternoon person, you can choose to, start watching at 1 p.m. in the afternoon and then watch up to 5 p.m. and you go and rest. If you're a night person like me, you can start from 12 a.m. in the morning and finish your videos 5 a.m. in the morning, and you can sleep till 2 p.m. and then rinse and repeat. So this is why we refer to it as self-paced watch me do it videos, and they are videos that would help you understand all the concepts. They will not come to class on Saturday to come and do a case study based on all these concepts that you've learned over the week in the watch me do it videos. Okay, now let me tell you a little bit of what you struggle to land a tech job. Why exactly do you struggle to land a tech job? It's because you put the cart before the horse. You put the cart before the horse. And this is basically you trying to, in this 21st century today, we are saying people should not work too hard. Stop working too hard. What you have to do is work smart. Okay? Stop putting the cart before the horse. The cart cannot drag the horse. It is the horse that will drag the cart. Right? That's the way it works from the days of our forefathers. It has always been the cart's behind and the horse at the front. But some people, what we do is put the horse behind and we put the cart and we expect something to drag. It's not magic, right? It will not move. So it becomes very difficult and most times impossible to make progress when you put the cart before the horse, right? So in this tech field, we are very big on competence over credentials. You hear people saying certificate is not important. It is what you can do. It is the skills that you can show that is important. It has nothing to do with certificate. If you like, get a certificate, let them be as tall as this. If you don't have the skills, it will do nothing for you. So it's very important that you're able to, portray the skills that you have, show your portfolio, show proof of work, learn in public, learn from experts, right? So that's one of the major reasons why people struggle is because they put the cart before the horse, and that's not gathering the skills, but just gathering certificates, which is wrong. Another thing is that people trivialize job applications. Some people, they have the same CV for all the jobs. So even if they're applying for the role of a chairman, they have the CV of an HR analyst. Is that same CV that we used to apply for the role of a chairman? Now, it does not work like that. You need to take your job application serious, right? And that's what we call tailoring your CV. And that's very important. You can't just expect that you're using one size fits all and you will land a job. You will not. Okay, so at every point in time, we need to take our job applications seriously. Let's not trivialize our jobs. Applying to jobs in a very strategic manner. It's not about volume, it's about quality. It's not about the amounts of jobs that you apply to in a day. It's about the quality of your CV. Okay, so that's another thing that causes incompetence. And now, lastly, is not knowing how to sell yourself during interviews, right? Applying to jobs is a job. It's a full-time job. It's a full-time role. So people literally like drop everything that they're doing to apply to jobs. Basically, it's a full-time role. And imagine dropping everything and not applying correctly. That's like pouring water inside basket. Do you get what I mean? So it's not about volume, it's about tailoring your CV and letting experts help you through this journey. Right? So another thing that we hold like really serious at this analytics is that it always seems impossible until it is done. Until you actually like really venture into it, you will not know if this thing is possible or not until you dip your hand inside some water that is on the table. You will not know if the water is hot or cold. So until it seems impossible, it always seems impossible until it is done. And these are some of our success stories, right? Here is Victor, right? Victor is like a body, right? So he joined Analytics in November That's November 2022. And by January, he already got a job as an HR analyst. And he was even working full-time remote with a company called Hugo in USA. And he currently stays in Lagos, Nigeria, right? And even after that, again, he learned some more. And then he got another job again with Tangerine Africa, right? As senior HR partner with, and that's from majorly like the skills that he learned from Analytics, right? Which were of huge help to him. And then there's Sonia again, who recently landed an HR analyst job in the UK after learning with Analytics, right? Our game changer was when she listed Analytics as a place that she has worked on her LinkedIn profile, right? And so recruiters decided to reach out to her, started to schedule interviews with her, and today she's working as an HR analyst in the UK. Now, so some people will say, okay, it's people in the UK alone, people in Canada alone, but Victor is in Nigeria, right? And he's a typical example of somebody who just came in to learn and has done so much with, what he has learned, right? So we also have a couple of other persons here that you can always listen to when you get the recording. I'm just going to let me see if I can play one of these. Okay, I don't know, it's not clicking. Yeah, but when you get the slides, right, you have to go through the slides. More success stories. We have Maureen, who landed his job as an HR data analyst in TELUS International in Canada. We also have Thelma, who got a job as an HR analyst in Birmingham, UK. All of these people, they are just like you. They came in for a master class. From the master class, they learned skills that helped them transition and change the game of their career. Now they are earning as much as possible. We also have Aduke Fayemi, who took a training with us as well. David, who also learned with us, and Etim also. I want to play one of these recordings so that you can hear from the horse's mouth yourself. This is Ramat, who landed a job as a business analyst in the UK after 3 months of training with us. Temi used to be a lawyer, but he said he does not want to do law again. He wants to transition. And now he works as a business analyst after training with us, right? He got a job. Ikmat, very interesting story. She took a break she took a career break, and when she wanted to go back into the career field, she said, what can she do? She used to be a full-time mom. So she said, okay, let me take the data. She took our data analytics program, and now she works as a data analyst with full sponsorship, full visa sponsorship. That's ICMAT. A lot of stories. I don't even know which of these videos to play, right? This is Toyin, who landed a full sponsorship role with NHS in the UK as well. We have Olubemi, who landed a job as a business data analyst with Law Depot in Canada, literally like after training with us. Then more feedbacks, more testimonials, more feedbacks, more testimonials. Now, to the talk of the day. Our next course is going to be starting on 2nd of March, right? So take note of the date, 2nd of March, 2nd Saturday in March 2024. And you can be a part of that cohort. You can definitely be a part of that cohort with everything that's said so far. I believe everybody here should even rush and register, because literally, like, you are going to enjoy, and I would love to add your faces to the ones that I already have here, right? It would be amazing to have your face here on my screen as well, talking about how you joined the program and also were able to land a job months after the program. Not a lot of months, like 2 months after, or 1 month, or even during the program, you get. So why should you choose us as your training partner? Why should you train with Analytics? Check out our achievements in 2023. We helped over 850 plus people transition from classroom into their first role in tech across UK, US, Canada, Europe, Asia, Africa, okay? Now, why should you train with Analytics? We have up-to-date curriculum. we don't joke with our curriculum, right? It's very important to us. Our curriculum, we are always like updating it. Like anything, if anything new comes, before that chart that we did in from the practical that we just finished, Power BI you don't used to have key visuals, key influencer visuals. It didn't used to have. It was last year that they started using, that they eventually incorporated it to Power BI, and immediately we incorporated it into our curriculum. Immediately, we didn't even have to wait or decide on it for a long time. So our curriculum is up to date. Now, we also have industry experts with hands-on experience. Look at Mary, we have Adeza, we have Femena, we have a lot more. We have a lot more facilitators that are in-house and going to be helping you. You're going to be learning from them. Hands-on experience. You're going to be learning, and you can see basic. What Mary just showed us like the littlest of it, right? There's so much more to learn by joining and training with us. We also have blended training that is meant to accommodate everybody, regardless of if I've had people ask me, I'm so years old. Can I see transition? Yes, age is never a barrier. Okay, so we can accommodate literally. We've had people, a 60-year-old man take our program, and he did so well. You would not even know that he's 60, right? So everybody is welcome here. We also have additional employment services, employability services like CV review, LinkedIn optimization, Upwork optimization, and so on and so forth. Then you get to take internship designed to simulate the real work environment. You're going to be working on it. You have a full month for internship, right? And this internship is not just by mouth. You're going to be working on real life case study. You're going to be simulating the real work environment. Then we also have industry ready professionals that are ready to help you at every point in time. Okay, so how we position you for success in the job market in 2024 in a 3-layered approach. Level one is by taking you to the CV review sessions. We're going to be having CV review sessions with experts, right? Experts that have gone through this process and they know what they are doing. So we'll teach you step by step how to optimize your CV. You see some CVs today, you'll be scared. Even if you're not yet an HR analyst, you'll be wondering why somebody has a kind of CV. Do you understand? So for example, people that have, there's so many things that you should not have on your CV. You should not have your age on your CV. Why? Why is your age there? Do you understand? So there are so many things that a lot of people have learned from different sources in the past. I'm going to demystify everything for you. We'll teach you step by step how to work on your CV in a way that it's attractive, and not just like working on your CV and just leaving it. We'll also teach you how to tailor your CV all the time. So for every single role that you need to apply for, how do you tailor your CV to fit the description for that role? Because that's another reason why people don't get jobs these days. You see, for example, we said earlier that if you take the HR analytics program, you can work as a HR analyst, data analyst. You can also work as talent optimization, talent management analyst, right? Now, when companies are putting out these roles, they put it out in different manners. You see some of them same, literally like different descriptions, okay? And then how do you tailor your CV? Your CV to fit into the description of that role? We'll teach you. You don't have to go and learn it yourself. We'll teach you the real thing, okay? We also have LinkedIn optimization, where we teach you how to optimize your LinkedIn. So people, they have their LinkedIn profile picture is a picture of their dog, which is wrong because it's LinkedIn, like it's a professional space on its own. You should keep it as professional as possible. And it's not just about having perfect profile picture, it's about the things that you put on your LinkedIn. All right. So I'll teach you that as well. Then Upwork optimization for people that don't like, you don't want to work with anybody, you just want to be on your own. We'll teach you how to use Upwork to get jobs, like people make a living out of Upwork, right? Not just Upwork, Fiverr, and so on and so forth. I will teach you all these things and help you to also ensure that you are able to navigate this spaces. Then we also have navigating the job market sessions, which are very important sessions that we have put together to help you navigate the job market, because unemployment everywhere is pretty crazy at the moment, and it takes like the strongest people to be able to navigate this job market. So we'll not just teach you the skills, we'll teach you the soft skills that will help you to land the jobs that you need. Then job and interview preparation sessions. For like yesterday, we had an interview demonstration session where we had like people applied to some roles, and we interviewed them, told them, give them feedback. We'll be having these sessions with you, right, for you to be able to prepare yourself perfectly for this jobs that you're going to be applying for. Then we have the recommendations letter. If at any point in time you've gotten a job, which is our joy, you've landed a role, you need a reference letter, we'll give you a reference letter free of charge. You don't even need to pay anything. We just, as long as you're an alumni or a student, we'll give you a recommendation letter. Now that's level 1. Level 2 is weekly mentorship sessions. And these are like very important, because at the end of the day, it's not even about what you can do. It's 50% of what you can do, 50% of the mentorship that you've also gotten as well. And they say there's like this popular saying that follow who know road. We bring in experts that have gone through this phase they are currently going through, and we'll also let them, they will teach you how to navigate to this space. So it's not going to be mentors are very important, right? Like mentors are like very, very important in this tech career space. So you see people like Efemina, like Adeza, external people, bring CEOs, will bring in people that work as HR analysts to come and tell you what it actually, what it looks like, right? What it feels like, and how you can also get yourself into this space. Then we also have on the job support, where we help you if you've gotten a job for like the first couple of months. Will help you if you have any problems. Now, the third level is our promise to you, which is a guaranteed interview 1 month after completing your training with us. 1 month after completing your training with us, you get a guaranteed job interview. And that literally like shows how much effort we're putting into helping people transition into tech. It's not bobo, okay? People have done this and they have what to show for it. Now we also have the Tenalytics Growth Internship Program, which is our 1 month internship when you get to work on our free, you have to pay for this, where you get to work on real life case studies, right? You're going to have dedicated coach assigned to you to help you through this 1 month. You're going to be working on projects that would blow your CV, blow your portfolio. You're going to learn how to build your portfolio and then add it to your CV, and then have these projects attached to your portfolio. Okay, so it's 1 month of you owning your skills. You have project review with experts, weekly project review with experts. You've worked on a project, you get to have an expert review it for you, and then you work on 6 real life projects. And we have a couple of other new additions for this 2024, right? We've added more things for people. We have the Body Mentorship Hub. That's where alumni that have gone through Tenalytics, they've gotten jobs. All these people that I've showed you earlier, they've gotten jobs. They would come and show you how they did it. All right, we'll connect you with contemporaries that have achieved the aspirations that you currently have, and they will guide you through their own your own journey, basically. Then we have enhanced internship experience for all our programs, right? And we also have right, so basically we have partnership with recruitment agencies in the UK, Canada, US, and other countries, where you are, like we said earlier, you're going to be getting 1 free interview. Okay, we are currently working on partnering with recruitment agencies like Ace Recruitment, Robert Alf, Avinash, Michael Page, Adeco, Manpower, Conferry, Kelly Services, Tech Systems, and so on and so forth. And the major focus of this partnership is to recommend our students for potential roles in these various companies, recruitment agencies, basically. Now, good news is that we have our course starting, like I said earlier, 3rd of sorry, can you still see my screen?
No, we can't see your screen.
Okay, sorry, please give me a minute. Okay, please let me know when you can see it now. How about now?
Yes, we can.
Hmm. Okay, all right, so like I said, the good news for you, right? We have a discount currently running for our March cohort, and the course is going to be starting second of okay 2nd of March 2024. The discount is for the first 20 people that register. So if you my colleague is going to be pasting the link in the chat for people that would like to follow the link. But yes, so you can always like use that link to make payments for the program. And for the data, for the HR analytics program, oh my God. For the HR analytics program, right? Okay. For the HR analytics program, it is, I'm trying to make this, it's not, yeah, okay. For the HR analytics program, right? If you're paying in dollars, you're paying $750, right? If you're paying in pounds, you're paying £625. If you're paying in naira, you're paying 900,000 naira. But we have the discount. Like I said, we have the discount, right? So this is the discounted amount right here. You're gonna be paying in dollars. If instead of paying 750, you get to pay $600, right? If you're paying in pounds, instead of paying £625, you get to pay £500. And if you're paying in naira, instead of paying 900,000, you get to pay 720,000 naira. And it also comes in installment. You get to pay in 2 installments. You don't have to pay the entire amount at the same time. If you want to, that's fine. We totally dig that. But if you can't, you can pay in 2 installments. These are the breakdown. Yes, the breakdown for the installmental payments, right? So I don't know if Mary, you want to help with posting the payment details in the chat, right? So you need to for you to be registered, you need to make the first payment. You need to make the first payment, and then you balance up your second payment 1 month into the program. Okay, that's the breakdown for the payments. Remember, only the first 20 people who register, are eligible for our discounts. Once we hit 20, every other person is going to fall back into this full payment box right here. So you want to ensure that you make that payment as soon as possible to go to pin in your discounts. Now, some of our participants work in these different areas: First Bank, HSBC UK, Corn Oil, Total, Post Office in the UK, KPMG, Nine Mobile, Sterling Bank, United Capital. It goes on and on and on, really. These are some of the impact and features in 2022, right? Some of the things that we did and that were covered by various newsletters like Business Day, like Nairametrics, like Punch, PR Fire, and so on and so forth, right? We also had a couple of hackathons, right, that were covered by this Tech Cabal, and so on and so forth, right? So when you get the slides, please feel free to go through all of this, right? So I'm going to play one of the testimonials, right? So that you can listen to these people by yourself. Let me see if this works. Okay. All right. I think I'm just gonna.
This is Rama.
Yeah.
Trust me, I've landed in the right place because I'm going to be briefly sharing my experience with you about my journey.
Okay, I believe you can see the.
Hi, good day. My name is Ramat, and if you're stumbling on this, trust me, you've landed in the right place because I'm going to be briefly sharing my experience with you about my journey with Tenalytics and how I was able to get a job within 3 months of joining the cohort.
Sorry, can we all see the video that I'm playing? Can we all see the video I'm playing? Just drop a yes for me if you can see it in the chat. You can hear the sound.
Yeah, we can hear it.
Okay, thank you.
I joined them and enrolled for the course. Tenalytics as well-seasoned facilitators who are experts in the field. Imagine not having any experience beforehand as a business analyst and finishing with Tenalytics as a pro. Personally, I also got interview preparation sessions that helped me prepare well for my interviews, and this enabled me ace my interview. So if you're looking to transition or you're having any doubt, trust me, you shouldn't, because Tenalytics is really amazing and you should consider enrolling.
Okay, that's for Ramat, right? Really amazing individual. And yeah, she has pretty much shared her experience with us. And you can be the next Ramat. You can be the next person to share your experience with us, right? And we love to hear from you. So now is the best time to register for our classes and lock in this career growth. All right, so I don't know if anybody has any questions for us here before we call it an amazing session. Do we have anybody with questions for us? Suleiman, there isn't the financial aid that we are offering right now is the installmental payments, right? So okay, so Simon wants me to play a different testimonial. Is there a particular one you want to listen to, Simon? So I can just play that one for you. Anyone in particular, or you just want any testimonial? Also, to see more of our testimonials, you can go on our YouTube channel, right? Or our Instagram to just see. Okay, let me play this from.
My experience with Tenalytics was amazing. I'd come to learn about the program through a friend who was doing a different course with them, and I'd raved about how amazing his course instructors were and how excited he was. And I decided to check out the website, and I found the HR analyst program, which piqued my interest, and I decided to go for it. During the duration of my program, I truly felt like I had great instructors who were truly knowledgeable, very supportive. They, did not mind explaining things over and over again and carried the entire classroom along, which I thought was really wonderful. I have developed new skill sets, and in such a short amount of time, and I think this speaks to how amazing the instructors really were.
Hello, everyone.
Okay,
My name
this
is
is
Victor. I'm an HR professional with about 3
Victor.
years of experience that cut across the media, consulting, and aviation industry. And I'm here to share about my story with Analytics. So sometimes in 2020, just before COVID started, I began to nurse the desire to upskill my career. And then it felt like data analytics was something I could do. So I went for an event somewhere in Lagos, Nigeria. And at that event, I met Adeza Suleiman. He just took us on practical Excel. To be very honest, it was one of the best Excel classes I've had because it was very easy to understand and it was relatable. So what happened was that after the event, I met with Adeza and I got his contact, and then we kept in touch. Fast forward to 2022, I was now at a point where I really felt I needed to take a step beyond the desire of wanting to upskill and upscale, and then I reached out to 10Analytics to take the master in HR analytics course. So we started the course in October, and it was very fascinating. I like the fact that the course is systematic in nature. We moved from problem solving to Excel, and then to Power BI to dashboarding and all of that. But the icing on the cake is that I've always wanted to transition to the technology industry. I believe that tech is an enabler. I believe that tech is the future. And I also know that for someone like me who does not have a tech background, it was important to leverage a tech skill that would allow me to practice in my domain knowledge. Perfect, which is why I went for the Masters in HR Analytics course. So we started a course in October, and then sometimes in November, I started to apply for jobs and to see how I could position myself for any opportunity. And guess what happened? One of the roles I applied for, I had to work on case studies, I had to do some things and all that. And you would believe me that all that I was taught in class, even as a beginner at that time, was sufficient for me to land that job. You don't know how happy I was to think that. I was just thinking of transitioning to tech, didn't know how to go about it, started classes in a few weeks, and of course, I was able to land a job in that little time, and I've been able to transition my career. So far, even the experience of the class was amazing. The facilitators are very simple, they are tender-hearted, they know how to explain, they are very patient. I like the fact there's also a live class, which means that I can participate and then go back to the recordings after the sessions. I'm eventually glad that if I look at myself between October and now, I've definitely grown in my analytics skills, creating my dashboard. Of course, I'm still a learner, but I'm growing. Here's my point, and I'm trying to encourage everyone out there. If you're an HR professional, if you're a finance professional, if you're a supply chain professional, or even if you're an African youth who's looking to upskill, to transition into data analytics or into tech generally, 10Analytics is your sure plug. They have amazing facilitators who have a track record of delivering results. The results among students also speak for themselves, which means that you are signed up to a platform that will not just teach you, but help you to grow. They also have LinkedIn optimization sessions, CV writing sessions, and the icing on the part is the growth internship. You know what? It's one thing to learn, and then another thing to have a platform where you can be able to practice these things. So here am I putting out the water. If you want to move into data, if you want to move into tech space, 10Analytics is your sure plug. I believe they still have some promo going on right now. Go to their website, reach out, sign up, get your journey in tech started. Thank you very much.
All right.
Hello, my name is Olawatosin Ogunleye.
Right. That's from Victor, who currently works as an HR analyst with Tangerine Global. All right. So these are many more people that have gone through the program, and today they have so much to say. And I guess that's our evidence. So like I said earlier, you can be the next person, and we'll also love to have your face on our slides. So at this point, we'll be bringing the session to an end, right? Do we have any questions? If you have questions for us, please feel free to use the raise hand icon and we'll call you. Anybody with questions? Okay. All right. Any questions? So far, so good. All right, Simon, do you want to? Okay, I have a question from Daniel. So in case I don't get a job 1 month after the training and I get a job maybe 3 months after, will I still be able to have Yes, you will. Even if it's a year after, which is not our prayer, because you need to get that job 1 month or 2 months after. But even if it's a year after, as long as we have you in our record, you definitely get an interview preparation. Definitely. We can guarantee you that. We have a lady that got a job recently. Her name is Damola. She took the data analytics program in 2022. And then she reached out at the end of 2023 that she has an interview and she wants to, you know, speak to any of our experts to take her through an interview prep section, which we did, and she got the job as a data analyst, right? So you can always reach out way after and would attend to you. Okay. Simon, do you want to unmute yourself and ask? I'm just going to ask you to unmute so you can ask your question.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Simon.
Good evening. Thank you so much for a wonderful session. My question is, I don't know what's the payment interval between the first payment and the second one? And then secondly, this program, you said it's a 4-month training, but I really didn't get the days. Is it only on Saturdays? Because that was what I saw. And that time you were explaining, I couldn't get to hear you. So is it a weekdays or strictly weekends?
Good question.
And
Good question.
yeah.
So for your first question, right? If you make your payment, say for example, classes are starting 2nd of March, right? That's first Saturday in March. So when you make your payment now to secure the discount, now you start your program in March, 2nd of March, and then you have to balance up 1 month after you started your training program. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Then for your second question, live classes are on Saturdays only. You have your live classes on Saturdays. Then on Sundays, you get your Watch Me Do It video. And these are self-paced videos that we've put together to explain major concepts to you. So after watching those videos during the week, in between that, you have your drop-in sessions. We call them drop-in sessions, like office hours, where you come to ask your questions, anything that you need clarification on, anything that you need guidance on. And then we also have like our class reps, our programs facilitator in the WhatsApp group to attend to your questions at any time possible, right? So you have your drop-in sessions. Then in between that as well, you'd have your presentation sessions. This will be during the week, but mostly in the evening because we know that people go to work, right? So 1 hour, 30 minutes in the evening for these sessions. Then you'd also have your mentorship sessions every Thursday, right? And then on Fridays, you'd have either your LinkedIn optimization session, your Upwork optimization session, or your CV review session. Then on Saturday, you come back to class for it. It sounds like a lot, but honestly, like 1 week, 2 weeks into it, you start to, integrate yourself into it. It starts to get easy. And yeah, that's basically the breakdown of the classes. Did you get that?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Simon. I look forward to seeing you in class. All right. Do we have any other questions before we call it a night? All right, so thank you so much, everybody, for coming. We've had an amazing session with you guys, and we cannot wait to see you in class. On Tuesday, we'll be having our clarity sessions. So if you have personal questions or you've had time to go through this recording and you have questions, please sign up for our clarity sessions and we'll explain to you one-on-one with a professional. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Enjoy your Friday night. Bye, everyone. Thank you for coming.